Good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, and maraban. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 37 of the podcast Each One Teach 10 An Amazing World of STEM, an inspiring venture where we will be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Mr. Michael Drezek, who serves as a District Technology Integrator for Lake Shore CSD in Angola, New York. This is his 18th year in education. He's a member of the Lake Shore District Technology Committee, the District Teacher Mentorship Committee, and is on the Western New York Technology Integrators Forum Advisory Panel. He's also a member of the Western New York Consortium for the Student Empowerment Through Innovation. Outside Lakeshore, he helps the #GlobalEdSS chat and #GlobalMakerDay team, and was also the winner of the Lee Bryant Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award from NYSCATE. It's really great to have you here today, Mr. Michael. So, how are you doing today?
Thank you very much, Namya. Yeah, it's a great day here in Western New York. The sun is shining. The weather is getting a little bit warmer here. And I'm really glad to be here and having a conversation with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful too for that. So, before we start, we would love to know more about the work that you're doing so our audience can be apprised from that.
Yeah, as far as my background, this is my 18th year in education, and I was a math teacher in the middle school for 10 years, and I've been a technology integration specialist for now going on 8 years. So I push into classrooms around my school district. I could be working with kindergartners and seniors in the same day. Each day is different. I never know what it's going to bring. I like the challenge of, having meaningful applications of educational technology in the classroom and supporting teachers along the way. And I hope that, when I walk into a classroom, students get excited that I'll be able to work with them for that class period. And we're doing a lot of great things here at Lakeshore, and we're always looking for new challenges, especially coming out of COVID and the pandemic, and hopefully, kind of redefining what learning can look like with technology. And I guess in my role can play a part in that.
Right, that sounds really inspiring. And I keep on reading about the work that you're doing, and it always fills me up with excitement about like how you're doing great things, and it also gives me lots of information as well as inspiration to keep on continuing with what the work that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's part of the nice part of the ripple effect, I guess, of this work and being connected, through social media and other spaces with people that are passionate about learning with technology, and even students like yourself. Right, there's no age limit to it. It's really exciting to see that our paths can reach thousands of miles around the world, and also it goes both ways. The work that you do finds its way and trickles back into inspiring some of our students. When I need to show an example of what's possible with creating with technology, it's easy for me to find one of your Adobe monthly challenges, your creativity challenges, or one of your Minecraft worlds, or one of your podcast episodes when you connect with different experts. So I guess I'd say thank you for the work that you do, and I can bring some of that back to our classrooms here as well and our teachers.
Thank you so much for that. So, my first question to you is that how do you think that teachers can teach digital citizenship with game-based learning and STEM?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I guess I'll start by saying that digital citizenship, well, the same concept applies for everybody, right? We talk about the pillars of being alert and balanced and informed and inclusive and engaged. How people might go about teaching that can look different. I know we try to spread it throughout all of our classrooms, but I do like the GBL aspect of that, and maybe gamifying the DigCit experience in some way. It's what's engaging for students. I guess, when you look at the real life applications, it's not a game, right? When you talk about like your password security and things like that, those components of being alert, I guess there's real life consequences, right? It's not a game, but if you can play it like a game in the classroom, I think it's fun for students to really learn some of those concepts, especially at a young age. I know with some of our younger learners, they use the the Google's Be Internet Awesome application, where they're playing as a character in a game, exploring, like the Kindness Kingdom and places like that, where they're learning some of those concepts at a young age. I know in the past we've used a platform like Elementary, where the kids, we worked on coding a digital citizenship escape room that provided them different scenarios that they had to choose the right pathway, and based on their choice, they could have a different experience or outcome. So I think, we talk about, your digital identity and things like that. So I just put them in different scenarios that I think it allows them to play it through in a safe environment. Whereas, our real world scenarios that students may find themselves in on social media or on various gaming platforms or things like that, we want them to be able to be able to think of the things that they remember from their classroom and then apply it to those real world situations. So, I know through Minecraft, we've built worlds as well with our students that around the sustainable development goals. And I think there's an overlap with digital citizenship in some ways. But I think anytime you're bringing games to students, I think it's a fun way to do it. I know we've used Classcraft as well as another tool. So I think there's a lot of resources out there for teachers to do that. But I think that it's, just as important as the how is the why. I think students really just take to games very, very well in school. They're playing them naturally outside of school. So I would challenge any teacher to try their best to bring those experiences into the classroom.
Right, that's really encouraging, how we can make people alert, balanced, informed, inclusive, and engaged by gamifying the entire experience. And I really love when you talk about how we can teach people that how they have to apply the things into real life and be learning that through games. So that was really fun to learn about from you right now, that students were learning things in the game, and then they have escape rooms that they choose the path, and then that's when they learn about problem solving, that they have to choose things carefully, they have to think twice. And basically, I have heard this thing that a silver is refined 7 times before it is used, so one must think 7 times before making a decision. So these things and all, everything that we're learning through games, through STEM, is basically helping us to learn these 5 things, and that's how we're able to impact other people as well to do the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. That repetition, that practice, they say, practice makes permanent. And I think it's important also for students to realize that, it's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to make the wrong decision. You talked about maybe thinking things through 7 times, and sometimes it's very easy to just go off of your gut reaction or your gut feeling. As when we're talking about digital citizenship, I think it's important for students and our younger learners to have a trusted adult or a mentor or someone in their life that they can lean on if they need some help, because some of the scenarios you may encounter out in the real world could be challenging, and maybe they don't have the life experience to know which way to go. So I just think that that's also important in this work as an educator, to create the experiences for students in that way.
Right. So I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite part of being a teacher?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. There's so many. I see things in the media and the news about a teacher shortage and people leaving the profession, and that's kind of sad for me to see, because I know we got into into education, I guess, to impact the lives of others, and to create a ripple effect of good. I guess for me as a teacher, as a math teacher, it was when that aha moment, the light bulb moment, when the student really understood a concept or got something. I know that was always really fun for me. I would say it's the smiles, or just, I guess, sharing space with curious students and curious learners. And in my role now, it works both ways. So sometimes working with adults and working with other educators, they get to also have that light bulb or that aha moment, in terms of, hey, this educational technology is going to, maybe not only make my life easier, which is important for teachers because sometimes things can get stressful, but also empower their students as creators, or empower their students to try something new with technology. I think, the skills around using technology are just becoming more and more important as the technology in our world, I guess, evolves rapidly. So for me, it's creating new opportunities for students. We just, for example, held a drone racing demo in our school where the students could learn to control the drones around a different obstacle course. We're exploring a lot of, we're going to look to have a day of AI for artificial intelligence here in May. So these are things that typically maybe wouldn't happen in the classroom, but as I guess in my role, what excites me about being a teacher is being able to find these opportunities and then bring them to our schools.
Right, I agree with that. And the first thing that you said, that people just don't want to be teachers anymore, and that's exactly like in many countries when we ask students like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" So they have professions like, "I want to be a graphic designer, I want to be a pilot, I want to be engineer," something like that. But nobody anymore says teachers. But the thing is that we all need good teachers, because if we have good teachers, the future of the students will be really safe, because that's when, because they are the one who are teaching us skills, they're one who are teaching us different things that we require to apply in our life. So that's the point, that is very important, that we need good teachers. We still need teachers to come up, and students who are growing up right now to become great teachers in the future. And I really love when you talk about that, how the smiles of the students and collaborating with teachers makes your day, and creating opportunities for students so that they can learn endlessly is really important, because opportunity is knocked really softly, but we have to grab them as soon as possible so that we can create good results. So that's really great to know from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do love that, you do hear that, like how many, when you ask the students what they want to do for a career or things they want to explore, when someone does say teacher, it makes you feel extra good. Like, yes, all right. We might have another good educator coming down the line to inspire more students, because like you had said, they are so needed.
Right. So, as we're talking about teachers here, what were the challenges that teachers like you and your fellow employees faced during the pandemic, and how did they overcome them?
I think it's, when you have everybody in a room in front of you, it's a lot easier to manage. So when we were forced to send everybody off into their homes and go through this remote learning experience, I think it was a big challenge for teachers to get everybody on the same page and to create that experience that they have in their classroom and then transfer that to online. So, I thought, a challenge for me was now, okay, well, now I don't have a teacher that I can work with face to face, but remotely, how can I get some tools and skills to more teachers that maybe I haven't worked with in the past to support them to help their students learn? So I think that was one of the big challenges. I think, resources and equity, I think, are another challenge for, what students might have to work with at home when they were in these situations outside of the classroom. Those are just a couple. And I guess overcoming them, I think they learn to lean on each other more, that, you can't teach in a silo. You have to maybe communicate with a colleague, or maybe, I know you and I are both connected and we can reach out to other people in our professional learning network or personal learning network. I think other teachers were forced to find communities and to ask for help and to realize, like, okay, I might not be the expert in this. I was maybe the expert in my classroom, but maybe I'm not the expert in remote or hybrid instruction. And being able to accept that and admit that, I guess, is a step towards growing and improving. And I think it definitely, I guess, rapidly escalated our teachers' skill sets with technology, because they were forced to jump in and I guess get out of their comfort zone, for lack of a better term. Is it definitely, now teachers are more familiar with tools that I wouldn't have had the time to get to everybody, because everyone was forced into it. Okay, I'm going to have to learn how to use Jamboard. I'm going to really put my Google Classroom to use. I'm going to make collaborative activities for my students, because I just can't talk at them on a screen for an hour straight, things like that. So I think teachers showed a great level of resilience. I think, every teacher's experience was probably different, but I think, how do you reach your struggling student when you don't have them face to face in front of you? I think that was a challenge that every teacher had to work through. I think if you asked most of them if they'd like to go back to that remote experience, I would say that they would probably tell you no. I think as teachers, we like people. We love to be in a room with people. We like to have those face-to-face conversations. And I think it helped us value those even more. I'm super grateful for technology and the fact that it allows us to have a conversation like we're having right now without it, we wouldn't be able to be doing this, having this podcast. But so I think teachers learn to embrace the technology. I'm seeing them bring experts into their classrooms more on like virtual field trips, things like that. So I think an unfortunate situation may have had some positive ripple effects as well.
Right, I agree with that because like everybody around the world, like in 2020, said that this was the year we lost. We lost so many things, but there were a few people only who looked at the things that we gained. Like in other countries, like in my country too, like people lost like education because there were students who did not get to go to online school because there were like some schools which did not get the facilities for that, and there were schools around the world as well for the same. So for that, teachers lost their jobs too. And like now, as we're coming back to normal from the last year, people have started valuing the things that are important, because when we lose the value of something, that's when we understand that it is important. And that's how, like, when we overcome challenges, we understand like how important it is to solve problems. And like even like you talked about how teachers learn about school different tools and skills, and how the resources mattered a lot. I think one other thing that I saw many of teachers in my school that faced was managing their personal and professional life, because they have the children, the entire family to manage at home. And like I even saw my mother doing the same, because she had to go to school and then she had to manage us as well at home. So it does get tough, but then that's how it made them really strong, that yes, they can do multitasking. And that's how like we learn more skills as well in the same way in this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. I know for me too, it was in some ways it was nice that I got to spend more time with my own children at home and help them and maybe see a little bit more into their own learning than I would have if I was coming in every day and they were going off to school every day. So it was different, but I guess I'll try to embrace what was different about it.
Right. So I wanted to ask you this question, that which is your favorite place that you have visited till now around the world?
My favorite place that I visited around the world. Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, I when I was younger, I had visited Sweden, and it was a beautiful country. I just remember it being very green. Um, and I think I had a chance to go to the Grand Canyon once in the United States, and it was just a picture would never do it a justice of how just magnificent it is. And I have Niagara Falls here in my own backyard outside of Buffalo, New York. So just I guess the power of Niagara Falls it was something that I'll always cherish, and I love that I can just drive 20 minutes, 30 minutes away with my family, and you can feel the mist of Niagara Falls hitting you. It's a beautiful place. So then, and I come back to tech, is that's what I love about like Google Earth and various virtual field trips and VR, is that you can I can show my own kids, what something looks like on the other side of the world in an immersive way. So that's a
Right.
fun question. Thanks.
Thank you. And like that also reminded me of like in grade nine, we had this option to choose between like an optional subject. So there we have physical education, that is basically sports. We have art, computers, and a new subject was added in 2021, that was environmental science. So that was only there in grade 11 to 12, but then it was added in 9 and 10 as well. So I really was excited about environment before as well, so I thought about choosing this subject. So our teacher told us, like, if you would have come to school, we would have all of them in the school. She would have taken us to field trips and all. But then she just told a different way. She gave us like virtual tours to Google Earth, like you talked about, as well as different videos. So it always feels good, like when you're watching it through your screen. But that's when we missed a lot, like going through actual going physically, because like the mist, like you talked about, and also this freshness of the air, it always catches you up. So like even we also experienced that a lot in our environment subject. So our teacher did a lot of stuff to make us feel like how it is to go in the environment, and we actually learned a lot through Google Earth and through different videos.
I love that. Yeah, I'm going into a fifth grade classroom tomorrow and Friday to do some work around ancient civilizations. So, we can't transport ourselves back to those times. So the technology is going to be the next best thing, I guess, to look at, what it may have been like. And we'll use the Google Arts and Culture to look at some museum artifacts and things like that. But yeah, like you said, the in-person experiences of going there in person, it's really tough to replicate. I know I chaperoned our grade 8 field trip to our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. yearly. And, because of the pandemic, it was canceled for the past few years. And I know there's some teachers and students hoping that they can bring that trip back so the students can visit the monuments and get the tours and get the history and then connect that back to their studies as well.
Right, that's actually great. So I wanted to ask you that what do you do so that students are effectively engaged with what they're learning?
Yeah, I love that question because that's what challenges me and keeps me honest as well as a teacher, because it's not about me, it's about them. It's their learning, it's their classroom. And I would say, some element of choice I think is important. If they can choose a way to show what they know or show what they learned, I think they're more likely to be engaged. The first question that you had asked me about game-based learning, I think anytime you can get like hands-on or you can use games as a way. We use a product called Taito Online in our science classes where the students can learn science in a fun way through an avatar and explore a virtual world. I think that that's key. So for me, it's just really collaborating with a teacher, finding out what they want to do, and then using technology as a way to kind of engage the kids. I guess technology isn't the answer to everything, but it definitely makes a lot of things possible that maybe wouldn't have been without it. So, I'm going into a class tomorrow and we're going to be using the merge cubes, and the kids will be able to hold the augmented reality object in their hands. I think that will be a fun way to engage them. So, you can't use the merge cube for everything. So, in a history class, what does it look like? In a Spanish class, what does it look like? So in our various classes, I guess it's finding ways to be creative, but I also think that I think it's listening to the kids too, or getting some feedback from them, maybe opening up for what they liked about something, what they didn't like about it, and being willing to maybe change things from one year to the next.
Right. So I really love when you talk about empowering students by providing them with the choice, voice, and agency. And that science through avatar sounds very interesting. And like I even mentioned this in my last podcast live with Jamie about Merge Cube, that it's one of my favorite tools because actually helps you to see the entire thing in your hand itself. Like if it's a human heart, you can have it in your hand. You can look at it, that how it pumps and what are basic the entire organs in that, and you want to look at how a water molecule looks like. So it's really, really cool that you can see everything in your hand itself. But then again, like you said, we can't use every tool for each and every subject. It depends upon like how the subject is being taught and how the teacher teaches it, and that's how we can use different technological tools for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Right on. I think that's the fun part. That's what I like about my job too, is discovering new things, and I think that's what keeps me engaged as well. Is how do we keep things fresh? And I think also it's also important to not chase, I guess, the latest and greatest, the fun, shiny new thing, but to find things that work really well and that the students and the teachers like. And I think also, we talk about digital citizenship, we talk about inclusion and accessibility. I think it's also important that the tools support being able to help our students that may struggle a bit too. Whether there's any type of assistive technology built in, I think is also something that teachers need to also pay attention to.
Right. So I have this question for you that it's going to be a rapid fire round. So I'm going to be naming some thing that you're supposed to talk about, like the tool that comes in your mind. So like if I say a word, and then you have to unmute yourself and you're going to say a tool that comes in your mind for the first time. So shall we start?
Yeah, let's go. I like it.
Okay. Okay. If I say collaboration.
I would say Discord.
That's great. That's actually mine too. About STEM.
STEM, I would say Co-spaces.
Oh, that's great. How about game-based learning?
Game-based learning, I would say Minecraft education.
That's what I expected because everybody loves Minecraft with game-based learning. Right. Creativity.
This is a tough one, and I have a tough time picking just one. So I don't know if I could break the rules, but I would say Adobe, Buncee, Canva.
Right, that's great. And lastly, if I talk about digital citizenship.
I would say Beluga, one of my favorite tools for digital
Right.
citizenship.
Mine too. Thank you so much for answering that. And before we end, I'd love to know where we can find you online. And is there any message that you would like to give to the audience watching us?
Yeah, I'm online. I'm on Twitter at m_Drez, Drez. That's where I do most of my sharing and connecting. I have a website at michaeldrezek.com. I don't update that as often as I would like because I'm so busy in my day to day in classrooms here at Lake Shore, but it's there. You can find my other connections on that site as well. And I guess my message would be to find something that ignites your passions, find something that, we talked about engagement that engages you and find your why, remember your why, and have fun doing it, and try to make a little bit of a ripple effect of good in your corner of the world, wherever you are. So if you're listening, thanks for tuning in. And make sure you follow Namya because she is inspiring me daily. And I hope you continue to listen to her podcast as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. And before I end, I would love to end this with a quote that the 21st century learners are the global citizens. They need to understand how to be a part of this world and how to be active, empathetic participant in society. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching us and listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one teach 10. Have a nice day.